Good evening. This is the dimension of unbelievability. It is an area which we call the Frauditor Zone.
Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is brought to you by the Frauditor named Ken Before the Storm, where the Frauditor goes to a courthouse to file some paperwork but is immediately denied because he refuses to stop filming. The Frauditor spends the entire video thinking he's justifying to his viewers why he should be allowed to film. However, I painstakingly researched all his claims and easily debunked all of them. In the end, the Frauditor is trespassed and arrested, the way it should always be here in the Frauditor Zone.
You can file your motions, put the camera in your pocket, put the phone in your pocket, turn that off, and we're good.
What's your name?
Turn the phone off. Turn the recording off.
I'm here to do business.
I understand that.
These are prepared to file. You are not a security enforcement. You are a clerk to file. Please file. He wants to deal with this, he can deal with it. And I'm okay with that. But he doesn't control the court. You are the clerk of the court. You need to accept my motions.
I didn't say I was going to.
Recording off. Now I'm telling you to turn it off.
Dude, look, you're not going to use physical force.
I'm not
going to cause a problem. Call the sheriff.
The reason I say call the sheriff is 2 days prior, when I was trespassed from the Prescott Superior Court, a Lieutenant Winfrey called me and said that him and Captain Rhodes of the Yavapai Sheriff Department discussed the issue and their consensus agreed with mine. If I'm not breaking any laws and I have business to do, I have every lawful right to be in that courthouse or any public property.
I don't believe that at all. Not just because he's a frauditor and gets everything wrong in this video, but because a courthouse is not a public forum. The Supreme Court has determined that police stations and courthouses are non-public forums. Frauditors, look it up. I'm not going to do your homework for you, especially because I know that God himself could come down and tell you the same thing, but you will look him right in the face and say he's wrong. In addition, frauditors record every phone call and interaction with the police. So where's the proof? Yeah, that's what I thought. Moving on now.
Because now you're violating my rights, and they're going to tell you to serve me.
No,
and I don't want to get loud. Let's not get loud. Let's keep it quiet.
Mr. Drew, I asked you to turn it off. Now I'm telling you to turn it off.
I agree.
They will file your motion.
I agree. You've asked me. You've told me. I can't call from my phone. Don't say there's a disturbance. Say there's a man filming.
We can say that.
Okay, please call the sheriff and say that.
No, go ahead, Pam.
Dude, I don't know why.
Again, I'm getting ready to go to lunch and you're f***ing it up.
Bro, you're violating my rights. You're f***ing it up.
If you turn off the camera, they will service you.
I guess we have to wait. It's crazy, man.
Okay, it seems the first thing that people are confused on is what actually is public property. As most, but not all of you know, there's no such thing as kind of, but not really public property.
Yes, I agree, but I didn't hear anyone say it was kind of public property, so you're just talking out of your ass. Moving on.
In the ACLU of Nevada versus City of Las Vegas, the court looked at Jacobson, which states in part, we have adopted a fact-intensive, three-factor test to determine whether a location is a public forum. In the first instance, we consider the actual use and purpose of the property, particularly its status as a public thoroughfare and availability of free public access to the area. 2. The area's physical characteristics, including its location and the existence of a clear boundary delineating the area. And 3. Traditional or historic use of both the property in question and other similar properties. Is anyone going to argue that a courthouse doesn't fall under all three of these?
Well, I can't speak for everyone, but I agree that a courthouse does not fall under all three of those, or any of them. I'm not sure what he's getting at, since he put that up as proof of why it was determined that courthouses are public property, but then contradicted himself by saying that courthouses don't fall under all three of them. Let me know in the comments if I missed something. Anyway, let's take a look at this case that he is referencing. In a successful bid to revive its decaying downtown, the city of Las Vegas followed the lead of towns across the United States and turned several blocks of its main downtown street into a publicly owned pedestrian mall, the Fremont Street Experience. Fearful of the potential for disruption of merchants and customers, the city placed significant restrictions upon First Amendment activities in the Fremont Street Experience. After running afoul of these restrictions, the American Civil Liberties Union of Nevada and others brought this civil rights suit. The plaintiffs appealed the district court's determination that the mall is a non-public forum and its ruling that city ordinances restricting soliciting and tabling were constitutional. The city of Las Vegas cross-appeals the district court's determination that city ordinances limiting leafletting and vending were unconstitutional. We affirm in part, reverse in part, and remand, because the Fremont Street Experience unmistakably possesses the characteristics of a traditional public forum. We reverse the district court's conclusion that it is a non-public forum. Recognizing that the First Amendment must deal with new problems in a changing world, we hold that the Fremont Street Experience is a public forum. Okay, let's stop right there. This case is referring to a public sidewalk area, and I agree that it's a public forum. However, he's in a courthouse, which again has been ruled to be a non-public forum. So he's comparing apples to oranges here. In addition, the case was ruled in the state of Nevada. He's in the state of Arizona. So either way, this case does not apply to the current situation, and this frauditor is obviously in a state of confusion and ignorance. Okay, moving on.
They like to say they can place reasonable restrictions, but a reasonable restriction is no firearms, not a blanket no filming policy.
Where did he get that from? Who appointed him in charge of determining what is considered reasonable or not? It makes no sense, so disregarding and moving on.
They would have followed your motions if you didn't play this game. That's all I'm going to say.
I hear you, man. You guys call it a game. That's the problem. I mean, how do you sit here with two officers, police officers, that told you that a judge ordered them to arrest someone and that they called the county attorney and the county attorney told them there is no law being violated, you cannot arrest them. How do you hear that from them on video? I put it up and now you're doing it again.
Sorry to stop yet again, but I want to make sure you didn't miss this. So he's telling the officer about how the county attorney told officers previously that they could not arrest him because no law had been violated. As proof, he put a link to that video. The main problem is that there is no video. He just put some text about there being a link to the video, but there is no link. Instead, there's what looks like it could be the coronavirus. I looked at his other videos and did not see anything there either. Although I admit I did not watch every single video in its entirety, because the second problem is that it doesn't even matter. No one is arresting him, nor has anyone even threatened him with arrest. Yes, he does get arrested at the end, but at this point, he just seems to automatically know he's going to get arrested, which means to me that he knew very well that he was doing something wrong, and that it could, and probably would, eventually lead to an arrest. Having said that, well, let's move on again. And there is a lot more to go, but you don't want to miss any of it. Trust me.
We'll wait for the sheriffs.
They told you I can't audio record?
There's no recording device. There's no
You guys
audio.
are so crazy. Like, I can record in a courtroom without a judge's authorization. I can audio record with a device on me. Do you know that? Do you know that's actually the law?
Do you? Do you know the law? No, he doesn't, because the law he put up is cherry-picked to show just the parts he wants, when in fact, there's more to it. I'm not going to show you the law, because he also put up the wrong law. You see here where it states courtroom? That's because the law he's referring to refers to recording in a courtroom. He's not in a courtroom. He's in a courthouse. So I'll now show you the correct law and the parts that apply to him for filming in a courthouse. Okay, this one's better. It states, this rule specifies the permitted and prohibited uses of portable electronic devices in a courthouse. A court must use reasonable means to advise courthouse visitors of the provisions of this rule. A violation of this rule may be punishable as contempt. For photography and audio or video recording, it states, photography, audio recording, and video recording in a courthouse are permitted, but the following restrictions apply. In regards to areas outside a courtroom, it states, in areas of a courthouse other than courtrooms, no one may photograph or record an individual without that individual's express consent. In addition, the local orders state that, by local administrative order, a court may adopt further reasonable limits on photography and audio or video recording in a courthouse that are not inconsistent with this rule or with Rule 122. The last part about the local orders is important because it disproves something else he had said earlier. I'll play that part again.
They like to say they can place reasonable restrictions, but a reasonable restriction is no firearms, not a blanket no filming policy.
So, while the Frauditor says they can't, the law itself says they can. Which one should we believe? Moving on.
Like, video or not, judge allowing it or not. The only thing I need to do is request if I want to set an audio device down and record it in a courtroom on it. Then I need to request it. You don't even know that, and you're here to enforce it?
This part is both sad and funny. He did finally get the right law on the screen, but he's still talking about the wrong law that pertains to courtrooms. So I'm not even going to bother to see if what he said is correct, since it doesn't even apply to him. However, take a look at the text he put up, and now, voila! This is the whole text. It kind of changes the whole meaning, don't you think? I don't see how he could have possibly accidentally missed that last part. It seems that he's now just overtly lying to everyone, so how can we trust him to give us accurate information on the law? Spoiler alert, we can't, and I'll move on to keep on proving it.
That's the whole problem. It's like you guys watch TV, and then you start enforcing what you see people do on TV, instead of reading the laws and enforcing the laws. And I'm not doing any of the, just so you know, this says if you're filming, you can be criminally trespassed for disorderly conduct and harassment. I'm surprised they don't have loitering, because they like to throw that on there too.
Okay, let's talk about trespassing. Trespassing is knowingly entering or remaining unlawfully on any real property after a reasonable request to leave. Key word in any trespassing is being there unlawfully, and I don't know what could be more lawful than filing motions in a court for a case I have going.
The text he's showing is actually correct, and I added in the last part that he left out, but I don't think it changes the meaning of anything anyway. I'd like to first point out that, to my knowledge, no one has asked him to leave yet. So again, he's mysteriously predicting the future, or he knows that what he's doing will get him trespassed because he's done it before. And we all know that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. However, I don't think anyone has ever expected a frauditor to be sane anyway, so that part is not surprising. My second point is that it doesn't matter what reason he has for being in the courthouse. If he's asked to leave, but he refuses, he's then committing criminal trespass. So the keyword is in fact unlawfully, but it doesn't refer to filing a motion. It refers to being a dumbass and not leaving when being asked to leave. Got it? Good. Let's move on.
And to the officer that wrote the ticket, you wrote me for 1503, which is trespassing on commercial property, which doesn't apply here at all. You should have wrote me for 1502, which is still wrong, but at least that is the right property.
No, ARS 13-1503 states a person commits criminal trespass in the second degree by knowingly entering or remaining unlawfully in or on any non-residential structure or in any fenced commercial yard. For all the stupid frauditors in the back, let's now look at a definition of non-residential, which is not requiring or providing facilities for people to live on the premises. Let's examine this. Does a courthouse provide facilities for people to live on the premises? No, they do not. Therefore, a courthouse is indeed considered non-residential. Moving on.
We can't even trust you to know the laws you're enforcing, but we trust you to kill people with qualified immunity. Got it.
He is seriously out of his mind. We can't even trust him to know the laws that he's citing, but we can trust him to assume that all police kill with qualified immunity? Got it. Wait, no, I don't get it. Ever hear of a person named George Floyd? Isn't there an officer in jail right now having been convicted of his death after not having received qualified immunity? Like I keep saying, you are.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
But I'm not doing any of the things under those statutes right now, which I'm very familiar with.
This gentleman up from doing his court.
Absolutely not. Please. I'm gonna just push those in.
Okay, I ended up waiting a bit for the sheriff to show up. Well, actually the Cottonwood police, even though the sheriff was called. But I read the bogus memo they gave me on camera, and I'm not going to bore you with that now. So even with a quick read, I noticed a couple problems with what they gave me. But when I got home and researched it, I ended up finding out that this memo they're relying on doesn't even apply to this courthouse.
Wow, he actually did research and still came up wrong. This frauditor is so stupid, I wonder if he forgets to breathe at times, which would actually explain a lot. The part that he's referring to that doesn't pertain to him is this part here. It states it applies to appellate courthouses or other designated facilities. While we could argue about what other designated facilities refers to, it doesn't matter, because right below it states, in part, that he has been observed violating one or more of the above rules. One or more. I've already proven that number 2 applies to him, so it doesn't matter if number 4 doesn't apply to him because number 2 does. Is your head hurting yet? Mine is. But we must move on.
So I read this and it says courtroom. I don't understand why you guys would
Have
even...
you shut that off yet? We aren't going to help you until you shut off the camera.
Okay, well, I mean, are we waiting for the sheriff or what? Look, ladies, I don't have any desire to put you on film. I will aim the camera this way if you'll service me, but it's not your job to enforce this.
There is no videography in
Okay,
the court.
listen, I will. If you just say I don't want to be on it, I'll turn it away.
That's not the point.
Is this a courtroom? This
is
says,
the court.
look at courtroom. Where's my finger? Courtroom. Now you look at that. Point my finger right at it. Courtroom.
Yes, it does indeed say courtroom, but he conveniently doesn't look below it where it states courthouse. Can anyone really be this ignorant? I mean, I know frauditors are really ignorant, but this seems to reach a level I don't think I've seen before. It's like frauditors are in competition with each other for who could sink to the newest level of ignorance. And the sad thing is, there's never any winner because they're all still competing.
Miss, is this a courtroom?
This is the court.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not liking it.
All right, well, I'll tone it down.
You turn that on me, I don't give a shit.
Exactly. Thank you.
But you're not allowed to record it here.
Well, that's your stance, but I believe this paper even that you're giving me.
Again?
What? Again what?
You turn it off. They'll find your emotions, you know.
Dude, honestly, oh my God. And when I walked in and you were normal and I was accidentally not filming, I was like, oh, I'm not even going to put this up. They must have learned, and like, what a boring video this is going to be.
The use of camera or videos.
Bro, I can make a sign that says black people can't come in here. You gonna enforce that? No, that's the same thing that the Civil Rights Act was created for, was for people creating signs and denying equal access to public areas. It is literally the exact reason.
Please someone show me the civil right that says everyone with a camera must be allowed to do what they want when they want, because I was under the impression that civil rights were to protect people from discrimination against race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, not camera usage. But hey, I'm not a constitutional law scholar, so what do I know, right?
Okay, well, I'm just talking to you, dude. You're a man. I'm a
No,
man.
you're getting loud.
Oh my God, look, I'm half deaf, and I've said that to you before. I can talk at any volume. That is a First Amendment right. Actually, you need to read your policy, because I read your use of force policy, and it specifically says the First Amendment is allowed.
Okay, I misspoke. You always have a right to the First Amendment. What this does is emphasize to them to not be a dipshit and put your hands on somebody because they express a verbal protest to an officer, which is exactly what happened to me at the Prescott Superior Court by a security officer the week before this.
First of all, you are not at the Prescott Superior Court. And secondly, no one is putting their hands on you, nor has anyone threatened to. Dude, stop living in the past and come back to a place of reality. Come on, focus.
But this is bigger than you and me. Can we just agree with that? I mean, that's where I'm at. It's way bigger than you and me, bro. Is the sheriff on the way? Really? Well, this is going to be a long video, but I'll cut it down because I mean, this is a lawsuit. Ladies, this is a lawsuit against the county for denial of equal access to the courts. So I'm now advising you of that.
And when you stop videoing, I will take your phone.
Okay. All right.
All right, we'll touch on, can we record public employees in public places? In Askins v. U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit, which includes Arizona, held that there is a First Amendment right to record matters of public interest in public places. And in Blackston v. Alabama, the court found that the First Amendment protects the right to gather information about what public officials do on public property, and specifically, a right to record matters of public interest.
Because this video is already pretty long, I'm not going to go into detail on each of these cases. However, in Blackston v. Alabama, the case was about being refused to record in a public meeting in Alabama. This is not a public meeting, and you are not in Alabama. Dismissed. As far as Askins v. U.S. Department of Homeland Security, it was regarding filming on a public sidewalk, which is a traditional public forum. This is a non-public forum, so that is dismissed as well. Moving on.
What is it that you are?
Your name.
I am not denying.
Your business
anything.
card.
I don't have.
100% you are. We'll let the court decide that. Can I get your business card, please?
I don't have one.
Can I get your name, please?
My name is Pam. I'm the court supervisor, and I will be happy to accept your filing when you shut off the video.
All right. Well, it's pretty clear. If that's not denial of equal access to the courts, I don't know what is.
It is not denial when you're violating a law and you do not know what it is. Moving on.
And she's relying not on a law, not even on a judge's order. In fact, the judge's orders for recording don't even apply to this court.
Okay, this piece of paper they're relying on to violate my rights was part of a 4-page administrative order. The reason they're not providing it is the administrative order states it's only applicable for the appellate court at 1501 West Washington in Phoenix, Arizona. And while the order can apply to certain designated areas at that appellate court, these people have taken this single page and the phrase other designated areas and applied it to the whole damn state of Arizona. This is conspiracy to violate rights under the color of law.
Again, forget about number 4. There are 3 other rules that you could violate. It doesn't state you have to violate all of them. 1 is sufficient. While I admire him for at least attempting to do some research, I take it back, because what is the point of doing research if you're going to just cherry pick what you want from it and disregard others, as well as not believe the parts that you do acknowledge? Dude, do better.
I mean, I can record in there, dude.
Well, I'm asking you not to.
I mean,
asking really not to record period, so.
I know, exactly. But the last time we were here, I talked to the sheriff, and I did make it clear. In fact, we made it clear in front of you. I could walk up to the clerk. I can, anything my eyes can see, I can videotape. That's why there's doors right here. So if someone walks in and there's court in progress, it does create a barrier. I'll let you get this. I don't want this lady to feel uncomfortable. Who is it? All right, perfect. Same one.
Corey,
How you doing, boss?
Doing all right. Can we go talk?
No, I need you to just inform him I'm not breaking the law and ask him to.
Okay, Corey.
Yeah.
Corey, hang on a second. We've done some research.
Yep.
Okay. They tell you got to stop recording. You have to stop recording.
Here's
They
the
tell you
paperwork
to
they're
leave.
giving me. I just read it, and
Okay.
it says,
One that's posted.
well, that's not a legal posting. They could post black people can't come in. That's literally what the 14th Amendment's about.
Okay, I understand, but the Arizona Supreme Court does not agree at this time.
Okay, so are you telling them not to file my motions because they're sitting right there?
No, that's not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is you have to stop recording.
Okay, well, I need these motions filed. So if you're gonna remove me from the building, okay.
Well,
I mean,
that's
I talked to
where we're at.
Sheriff Rhodes. I actually called the sheriff. So I talked to Sheriff Rhodes this morning. Or I didn't talk to him, I'm sorry. I talked to Lieutenant Winfrey, who told me Sheriff Rhodes called the head of the security at the courthouse, Rolf, told him they will not be arresting me unless I break a law. So
Okay.
I'm not breaking a law.
That's the sheriff.
Okay, so the police department's gonna arrest me for.
Well, that's not what I'm hearing. That's not what I would prefer to do.
Okay.
But
Tell me
here's the
what
thing.
you're going to do.
You've been told that you have to stop recording. Is that correct?
Yes.
They said they would file the motions if you stopped recording. That's what you just said.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. So
That's
so
not
what
that's
they're
not the
asking you to
law.
do.
The law is equal access to the courts. I'm in a public area. Are you undercover today?
I was working in special detail doing community service.
I didn't notice you at first.
Okay.
Appreciate you. Sorry for making you guys
But
famous,
that's
but
what they're not telling you they won't do the job. What they're
yes, they
telling
are.
you-
No,
what
she
they're saying
actually
is
said if I don't stop recording. And
Okay.
when
But
I was
that's-
here last time, your
that-
sergeant,
that they-
you and your sergeant actually said that he went to the county attorney. The county attorney said that a judge told him to arrest someone for a contempt of court for exactly what I'm doing, and he went to the county attorney who told him. We had this conversation right here with you, so this is going to be funny to
Okay.
replay.
But we-
Excuse me,
we've
hang on.
No, you hang on. You did it again. There is no link to any video. I know your viewers are dumb enough to believe that you actually put up the link because they don't even need it. They just lick your boots blindly. But the rest of us need links. We need proof. Again, I say it. Do better.
I'm not going to. And the county attorney said you cannot enforce that. He's not breaking a law.
Okay. We've since done research. Okay. We've done research, found the case law.
What's the case
Okay,
law?
That's something I don't know.
Well, you're going to need to find that.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, no. Okay, so if they don't want you to record, then you're gonna have to stop recording. Okay. And if
I'm
I
here to
understand
do
correctly, if he
business
doesn't stop
peacefully.
recording, then he needs to leave. Is that correct?
I'm here to do business peacefully.
Okay. Well, I understand that.
So you're
Okay,
gonna
that's
need.
why we're trying to talk to you about
You're
this.
gonna need to use force because I'm not violating. It says right here, criminal trespass, disorderly conduct, harassment should have loitering because you guys like using that. Even though if you read it, you'd see how silly you are because it's actually like soliciting sexual things, but intentionally. But am I violating any of those?
Well, as of right now, if you're recording, okay, and they're asking you to leave or stop recording, and you're refusing to do both, then you're refusing to leave.
I'm in a
That's
public
trespass.
area. You guys do agree I'm in a public area.
No, sir. That's the difference. That's the difference between open forum and closed forum.
That
They really act like they know what they're talking about, don't they? But you don't. And no, this education is not going to be free.
You really act like you know what you're talking about, don't you? But you don't. And I have painstakingly proven all of it, while you have just stated that they don't know what they're talking about with no evidence. Oh, wait, you think the crap you claimed in this video is evidence? Oh, poor delusional, dim-witted dumbass. And my education is indeed free, because you just do not have the kind of money that I would charge for this type of education. However, go ahead and sue the police, please. I would gladly take you making a complete ass of yourself in court in lieu of getting paid for this education I have given you.
So what is a forum anyway? A forum is a public place, especially one devoted to debate or public speech, a place of speech.
Aw, the Whittle dimwit researched something, but like a typical frauditor, he researched the wrong thing. Here is the same website that defines what a forum is in terms of the First Amendment. It states that a forum in First Amendment law refers to the place in which a speaker speaks. The First Amendment's protections regarding the right to speak and assemble will vary based on the speaker's chosen forum. The Supreme Court divided forums into 3 types: traditional public forums, designated forums, and non-public forums. Dim-witted dummy here is in a non-public forum. According to the same website, non-public forums are forums for public speech that are neither traditional public forums nor designated public forums. According to the Supreme Court in Minnesota Voters Alliance v. Mansky, in a non-public forum, the government may restrict contents of a speech as long as the restriction is reasonable and the restriction does not discriminate based on speakers' viewpoints. Examples of non-public forums include airport terminals, a public school's internal mail system, and a polling place. Now, I know that lens lickers everywhere are screaming that the restriction of speech in a courthouse is not reasonable, but you are not the one that gets to decide that. And furthermore, before it gets said, it does not discriminate against frauditors either, because it doesn't just apply to frauditors, it applies to everyone. Frauditors are the only ones that have a problem with it, but no one, frauditor or not, is allowed to film in the courthouse. Oh, and by the way, courtrooms and the courthouse lobbies are non-public forums. The lobby of the courthouse is not a traditional public forum or a designated forum, not a place open to the public for presentation of views. Do better.
A message to the rocket doctor that's trying to inform these officers how to violate our rights. Even if this is considered a non-public forum when it comes to speech, that doesn't mean that it negates the other 4 elements of the First Amendment or any of the other rights that don't impose security risks. Meaning, no duh, you can't bring a firearm in, but you can express religion and gather news stories for the press.
This has nothing to do with religion or the right to petition the government, so I guess he's talking about press. That doesn't mean that the limit on speech in a non-public forum is negated when you pull out your camera. I'm sure you do not want to go there, because in order to claim you are the press and to be treated like the press in return, you have to act like the press. That means you contact the proper person to set up an appointment for your imaginary story. You shower before you go to your appointment for your imaginary story, and you don't insult everyone you see. So, be careful what you wish for.
Okay, boys and girls, now that you know all that about your rights, let's count how many of my civil rights are violated in this encounter by the time it's done.
Oh, I can do that right now. The number is 0. Boy, that was easy.
Courthouse. This says right, we look at the first word
Yes,
right there.
it says any
Courtroom.
courthouse.
No, it says any courtroom.
The second one says any courthouse.
Court.
And then it says,
Court.
no, it doesn't. It says, okay, what is this?
Court, yeah.
Yeah, humana. How are you gonna get yourself out of this one?
Ruled 122.1. Use of portable electronic devices in a courthouse authorizes judges, clerks of court, or court administrators to limit or terminate recording activity that is disruptive to court operations. Is this disruptive to court operations?
I knew he'd find something. Well, yes, you are disrupting court operations. Because of your refusal to stop filming, the woman at the desk did not want to be filmed, so she walked away, not serving you or anyone else. I'd say that's pretty darn disruptive. Not to mention, the sound of your voice talking in circles for what seems like an eternity is definitely disruptive to decency and mankind everywhere.
I would say right now,
Is court in session?
I would say, given it's the courthouse, and this is happening in the, yes.
Okay, well,
This is
I'm
part
telling
of
you
the
wrong.
operations of the court. So,
Well, I'm the one, how can I be disrupting myself?
So as I already went over showing the court rules, you're allowed to record inside a courthouse. What they've done is cherry pick a section out of the court rules that say if you're making a disruption in the courtroom, the clerk can ask you to stop.
No, you have cherry-picked everything, and when you finally reached the point that you could no longer even try to cherry-pick your way out of it, you resorted to asking if you are disrupting yourself. I don't even know what that means, but you do you, dumbass. Oh, and while you are doing that, can you please also do better?
But that doesn't mean just having a camera is a disruption. If anything, their reaction to the camera is causing the disruption.
Well, you just had a customer walk out because you're holding up the line here.
I've repeatedly stepped out for people, so quit trying to make a problem now that they're here.
I'm not making a problem.
So it said disrupting the court operations or compromises court security. I'm not doing any of those. So if you guys, listen, here's where we're at. If you want to put force on me and take me out, then tell me to turn around and put my hands behind my back.
Disagree. How about this? You leave the property, I issue a citation, we argue it out in court. Okay, that's due process.
How about this? They file my motions. They file my motions so I get equal access to the court.
If you
How about new?
refuse, then I have no choice but to take you to jail under those
put the
circumstances.
camera down and they'll process your process.
Okay.
That's what they say.
Turn it off, stop recording. Okay, I don't care if you go record, I'll go stand out there. You can record.
Dude, I'm not violating this, and we're gonna go to
But
court.
inside-
No, this is gonna go. It's going to court, so it's good. But I'm saying I'm not violating these. You are wrong when you are on the stand and you have to justify each one of these that I just outlined. You're gonna look even sillier than you do now. But please continue.
Okay.
Continue. Let's go. Where are we at?
Okay, let's go outside.
No, tell me you're gonna arrest me.
Okay, if you refuse to leave the courthouse or stop recording, then you will be arrested for trespassing.
Did you catch that, folks? He said leave the courthouse or stop recording. Keep that in mind in a couple minutes when we step outside and he changes it to leave the property in general.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy!
If you're not going to stop recording, you need to leave. We're telling
You can go down to the
Okay, so
sidewalk
my
and record.
motions are here unfiled. This is going to be the evidence for the lawsuit. My motions are here unfiled. We have the name of the clerk, we have the name of the officer. These officers are threatening arrest. They're telling me leave the courthouse simply because I'm recording, not because I have caused a disturbance. Now they're trying to say me recording is causing a disturbance, but as they are ignorantly claiming, me exercising a First Amendment constitutionally protected right cannot be constituted as a disturbance.
Are you leaving, or are you going to leave and record from the sidewalk, or are you going to stay here?
You're arresting me if I don't.
Yes.
For trespassing.
Yes, they've asked you to leave, you're not leaving.
So Clements has asked me to leave, so he knows my motions aren't filed.
Yes.
All right, this is going to be interesting. If I didn't have my dog in my truck and it wasn't Friday,
I appreciate
but
it.
although this is still an arrest and you know it, and this is it doesn't remove you of your. I said it last time, but violating a civil right removes your qualified immunity. I hope you have a good pension.
Okay.
Get the day you deserve.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
You have to
Leave
leave.
the property.
No,
Please don't stand behind me.
Corey.
no.
Come on, man.
I don't have to leave the property.
Yes, you've been
Yes,
asked
you
to
do.
leave.
You have to leave the property.
No, I don't. Is this a restricted area?
Yes.
The whole county area?
The property itself is restricted.
Oh, now I'm trespassed from this property?
Yes.
You.
Trespassing right
Okay.
You.
Okay.
Get your sergeant out here now.
We don't have
Get a
sergeant.
sergeant. Get a lieutenant then.
now.
Okay, we don't have
Get a
We
supervisor.
don't have a supervisor.
You. I'm not. No. You're not trespassing me from this whole property.
Turn around, put your hands behind your back. You want to put your stuff down without breaking it?
Finally, the moment is here. I'm so freaking excited. I just want to savor this moment and make it last for just a few seconds more. It's like climbing a mountain. You finally get there, and then they tell you to turn back. Oh, heck no. I'm going to take a moment before I step on the top and just enjoy it. Okay, I'm ready now. Are you?
Okay, so what changed? Why did I lose my cool when we came outside? Well, once we cross the threshold of that door, everything changes. As much as I think they're wrong for not allowing me to film inside, once we step outside and they tell me to leave the property, they're telling me to leave a 30-acre compound that has a library, a public park, the WIC program for single mothers, the county building, etc. So yeah, I was pissed, and there's no way I wasn't going to take an arrest under those circumstances. I don't care if you help me or hate me. Just get off your ass and do something in real life.
What? That was it? That was all of the arrest we get to see? After all I've done for you in this video and all the free education I gave to you? Are you serious? Do you think that cute dog is going to make up for it? Well, guess what? You're my new bitch. I'm going to be combing your videos like I'm looking for a dollar bill in the sand. Whatever that means, I don't know. I'm just so upset. Well, at least I have the knowledge that you were arrested. It will have to last until the next arrest. I'm sorry, folks. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. It's now time to cool down from the Frauditor Zone. The link to the cooldown video is right above, and the link to my entire new cooldown channel is in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it and hit the like button. Good night.